What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Southeast Softwash, and I'm excited today because I'm launching a new, this will be in a playlist of a bunch of videos coming, and something I've been needing to do for about the last 4 or 5 years almost, but I'm busy. I got a lot of crap going on. So what we're going to do here, my buddy Andrew is our first guinea pig. We're going to be interviewing guys that have gotten our equipment, taken the training, and have had their feet under them for a little while. Visit back with them after they've had time to make some money, suss some things out, and get some feedback and see their perspective. A few months. Some of these guys will be a few years into the game. So I got a big long list. Guys, if you're watching this and you're one of my guys that I will probably want to interview, give us a shout. Shoot us an email over at softwashsoutheast@gmail.com, the main big email address, or get with Ty. I'm letting Ty kind of set this stuff up for me, and we will interview you and get you on the channel. Again, this is just for Southeast Softwash equipment dudes, and there's a ton of those dudes out there, but it's not just going to be talking about the equipment. That's just going to be one thing that we hit on. Andrew's here with us today, young man. He's been crushing it, and he was the first one I said, hey, I want to get him on because I like his vibe. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you?
I can't complain, dude. It's a pretty, what's today? March the 7th. Dude, it's nice outside.
Oh, it's pretty. Got that rain out of here, man.
That's that washing weather right there.
Oh, yeah, I can taste it.
You already got, I know you have, because I've been seeing your posts. You've been out there doing something, making some money.
Man, I tell you, if it's above freezing, I'm washing.
I love it.
It ain't too cold down here, but if it hits 33, I'm out there getting jobs and working.
Have you ever seen that video? It's an old dude, and he's talking about heating in a beating welding service, and it's a hilarious, it's funny as crap. Like, it's an old YouTube video. He's like, I'll weld it in the corner off the floor, 6 inches in the dark, left side. He just rambled like.
I've probably seen it if you were to show it to me. Yeah,
it's pretty fun. Well, I got 5 questions for you, and we'll do it any way you want to. Take your time, answer. We don't have to just be like, this ain't who's that girl that gives Trump hell all the time? I can't remember her name. He don't like her. It's not that style interview.
Not interrogation.
Megyn Kelly. Yeah, it's not interrogation, but so initially, just tell me your backstory. And my question, I got my notes over here, is what drove you to get into this business? Kind of give us your backstory. Tell us a little bit about you and what in the world got you leaning into pressure washing.
Absolutely. It's funny you ask that. So I think everybody can say, well, this works. Well, I'm probably one of the best examples because of my age. I don't think there's a guy in the inner circle or anything my age at 18 that did 150,000. So that just puts me in a good position to talk to people, say, well, if I can do it, I mean, you ain't no hold up, ain't no excuse. So in high school, all throughout high school, I did sports, worked at an auto shop, and I cleaned cars. I started cleaning cars, building some contacts. I ran around my DeWalt electric pressure washer. That joker I used the crap out of that thing. I had my 5-gallon jugs with a siphon hose, and man, I was getting it, boy. And so I saved up all my money, and I was like, okay, coming towards graduation time. I'm in my senior year of high school just started. And I was like, okay, I like working myself. I don't like working for somebody because you can't make no money at it. And it's just not my cup of tea. I'm a leader. I want to go get it. So my dad was looking into stuff like pressure wash. I was like, okay, well, seems like everybody pressure washes. And he found you guys. He's like, man, look at these skids on the back of these trucks. These things are bad to the bone. I said, that's pretty sick. And he said, well, look at this. It's a super starter. It's only $1,200 a ticket. Let's just go to it instead of blowing my money at the get-go, get trained, see if it's legit.
Yeah.
Thankfully it was. So
yeah.
Golly. So we took a weekend. Me and my dad went up there and went to the training. And I tell you, it's funny going to that training. I mean, it is amazing going there to experience. But I could tell real quick who's not serious about it.
Yeah, with the name of it, serious starter, but there's a lot of people that come that are not serious. And
exactly right.
It's like, why did you waste it's $1,200 a ticket. And guys, just to let you know, we just recorded the last serious starter event that we did 2 weeks ago. And so it is available this is brand new. I haven't even told anybody. It's on the website as of Monday. So you can go watch the digital version of that. Now you're not going to get the hands-on, but it's still the digital. It was over 8 hours I had to edit. So it's a lot of training. And like you were there, you were several back, but it's a lot of info. And it blows my mind how people show up and like, maybe they thought this was the play around starter boot camp.
Yep.
I don't know.
I wasn't there for games, man. I tell you, I sat front row, had my notebook. I wrote everything down that you and Aaron said. I said, okay, that's important. That's important. Write everything down step by step. So when I left, I knew what I was talking about. If you can listen all you want, but you ain't going to do nothing if you ain't got it written down. I can't remember all that information. I mean, you're going to have to write it down. Yeah. I could tell probably with about 30 seconds with somebody opening their mouth if they're serious about being there. You got the stupid questions. That's the first guy. And you got the obnoxious people. It's just, I was real quiet and observant. I listened to everything you said. I don't know more than y'all do. I'm going to listen to everything you say. So
it's a blessing, dude, to be your age because you don't already know everything. And it's like you're proof. You're proof because you made so much money in your first year that you just took and implemented. Now, there's stuff going into year 2 that you're going to tweak and make your own. But that's what gets in a lot of guys' way in their late 30s and 40s. It's like we can't help but, we're all kind of alpha and we think we got it figured out and we don't have it figured out. So
I tell you, man, the moment you stop learning, you're going to stop growing. Anybody that's where I want to be, I'm going to take notice of it. And I'm going to try to get as close as them as I can because that's how I grow. I don't want to. Why would I hang out around somebody that's not where I want to be and not going to lead me to bigger places? Is defeating the purpose. So to go there, I did the best of my ability to pay attention to y'all. And so as soon as I got home, I said, okay, this is on the way home. I was like, man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to roll. So the week after, called Footbridge, start that website. That's in the process. Bought a truck the same week. Bought there was a guy that went there. I bought a skid from him, a Mini Max. So, okay, we'll start there. I was thinking about buying a new one, but I got a bigger deal. I was like, let me buy this. I'll throw the rest of it back in the business. Got the Mini Max, got the truck, get started, and I was still 18. So it was October 5th. I turned 18. That's literally the 8th was the class. So I turned 18. 3 days later, I'm at the class. The week after, I'm getting my truck, getting everything ready to roll. And I'll tell you, it was fun. I mean, starting it, I had no jobs. I mean, luckily, my family, I'm better off than most because I have a good reputation around town. Small town, but my uncle owns Ace Hardware in town, so everybody knows us, and we have a good reputation. Yeah. I don't mean we're spoiled, though. I mean, my parents, they made us work for everything. Not a cent was given to me. I earned it all.
That's how to do it, man.
And I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want a check handed to me. There's no pride in that. I mean, I didn't earn that. And so when you pay for something, you got a lot of, you can take care of it and everything. I bought the truck and the skid. It still works like brand new. I mean, it's just great. And so
you're talking about the mini skid, right?
The mini.
A used mini skid. A used mini skid.
And it was a year old. And I tell you, that thing worked great. Nothing didn't work. And I was hammering it out. I mean, so my main source of getting jobs, as soon as I started, I was like, okay, I got to find jobs. Let me find family, start on family, find friends, and tell them what I'm doing. And so that's what I did. And believe it or not, church is a really good place to start. You need to go to your church, let people know what you're doing. Go to the groups, go to the Sunday school and everything. They're a bunch of old people. They're not doing it themselves. You got to get in there, man. And
network built in already to people you know.
You don't have to be young. It helps that I'm young. I take advantage of it. But you don't have to be. So you go in there and you do a good job at them. They talk. I mean, they talk around, and believe it or not, the church, there's a lot of people in the church. So I would start there. Definitely start there.
Yeah.
You do that. And then it was so funny. I was scouting. So this groundwork. So I would go around my truck. Me and my dad, sometimes he'd go with me. And I'd ride around. I'd look for dirty roofs. I have a phone in one hand, write down that address. Zoop. I mean, I probably get 100 to 200 roofs at one time in one afternoon. I just go around just
bang, dude, that's how I used to do it. I used to do that, like, bro, it's tactical fishing. Like,
you got to hammer it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would send 250 cards out. You talk about handwritten cards. I mean, I was doing it the hard way. I was handwriting them during school in class. I'd be in calculus class writing them a postcard. They're like, what the heck is this guy doing? I'm like, you just wait. I'm like, you just wait.
I love it.
So, it was the funniest thing. I mean, I was taking calls. We were in welding class, and that was I was getting in welding class. They were all welding. I was writing this big stack of postcards and taking calls, like trying to get quotes after school. I mean, it was just fun. And so, yeah, I'd write up, 100, 200 cards, send them out. I might get one job, that's $1,000 one job,
Right.
It cost me anything, but I'm just starting,
Right.
And door knocking, that's very controversial. It's hilarious. Nobody wants to knock doors. You see, my philosophy is everything that my competitors are not doing, that's exactly what I'm going to do. They're not knocking doors. Okay, I'm going to do that. They're not putting money into their marketing. I'm going to do that. They don't do a good job and they don't see what they're going to do. Right. I do both of those things. So they're in the dust. I mean, they're behind me. They are so far behind.
Well, you really crushed it, as a young person. I was doing this at 18, and I wish I had started back then and not waited till I was in my late 20s, because watching your climb has been pretty, you've hockey sticked up and to the rise. It's really cool. So question number 2, I think you kind of hit on some of this, is what's been your biggest hurdle?
Mindset. Without a doubt, mindset.
Why is that so difficult? Like, expound on that a little bit.
It's so difficult. We're in a small southern town.
Go ahead and preach on it right there.
Look, I'm grateful for all my family, and they helped me beyond belief. My dad got me into this. Every bit of this is to him. So let's get that out of the way. But they don't even think about it. It's like vernacular, This is too much money. We can't afford this. It's not necessarily my family, but it's just people around me in the community.
Region, dude. I just left. I just drove my Land Rover to Auburn, Alabama, 45 minutes that way, and I'm trying to get the exhaust redone. Now, this is it's almost a $250,000 truck, and it's just loud. Like, the exhaust it just needs to be redone. So I pull up. There's a dude. He's the guy, right? I'm like, hey man, I want to get this entire exhaust redone. Yeah, well, only thing wrong with it is your header bolts are loose. I'm like, I know that, but you're not listening. I want you to rip it all out. I want you to redo custom exhaust. Well, I could just do this and this. It'd be about $450. I said, no. I want to give you like at least $4,000. Like, I don't know what exhaust costs. I don't care, but I know I know what I want ain't $400. And I told him I had to spend 10 minutes explaining to him, like, bro, charge me something. But do it great. I want it to have it's got to have a good sound. Like, we take this truck to trade shows and stuff, but it's a great example. I saw just 15 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. It's not that it's a mind. I'm talking up here. He hears down here, and it gets in you. It'll get off on you if you're not careful. And that's what you're saying. It's not that I feel the same way. Like, I talk about it online. I don't want my family to ever watch it and think I'm talking directly at them. It ain't them. It's just the region. It's sort of like a virus.
It is. And I'm still trying to get rid of it, man. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to do without being mean and disrespectful to people. It's extremely hard to do. When I hear that kind of talk, I just kind of in one ear out the other, Well,
what I get told now on this side after making $50 million in the last few years is that boy, here's the saying, that boy's got more money and he's got sense. I'm like, well, whatever. I'll tell you that's a compliment, because that's a justification as to why they've never made a lot of money. Sure. And look, they may not be trying to. If they're not entrepreneurs, then it don't matter to them. Sure. So I get it. But the problem is that stigma as to you should act like this. Well, we act like this, you should act like this, but you can't do that as an entrepreneur. You have to. No. The number one problem that I've had is thinking too small. And I think big. So I'm like, well, if that's my problem, then I know it's a lot of other guys' problems as well.
Look, I've got about 3 friends I hang around me, and I graduated with a ton of people. They all went to college. Okay. Well, I'm not hanging around you. That's fine. You're out. And the people that are bums, and I hate to say it, bums, not doing anything, not making money, not going anywhere, you're gone too. I'm sorry. I love you. And I got friends I played sports with, and I hang out with some of them. One of them, a couple of them are in the military academy. Okay, you're doing something. But if you ain't doing nothing, I'm sorry. I can't be around you. I'm sorry.
It'll come off to those people if they're not ready to understand. It comes off as arrogant or cocky. It's like, it's really not that. I'm just trying to protect, like you said, the mindset is it's mindset, skill set, tactics, gear. Mindset is the hardest one to get. If you get that one, you'll automatically add the others. Now, we want to speed those other ones up, but if you have tactics, skill, and gear and no mindset, you're not going to win the fight.
Right. You're just not. It is crazy. I mean, I'm still battling it, I subconsciously, when I'm buying things, like, well, I could go here and buy this cheaper. I'm trying to stop doing that, you know. And I tell you, pulling the trigger on that skid, the Gen 2, really, it set in a little bit. It was like, okay, this is good. Need to keep
It's
doing
good,
something.
dude. That feeling is the fear is usually an indicator that you're pushing the envelope. Because when we saddle up, to build the super pump or to build the batch buster, and it's like, okay, or even our website revamp from last year, that was like we've spent some more money on it. We're over 150,000 on a website revamp, but the yield on the backside of that, it's no different than 200 years ago. And our granddads, all of our probably great granddads, they had to spend the money to get the land, and then they had to spend the money to plow it. Then they had to get the stone. I always think about that, like, damn, that field used to be woods. Yeah. Some old man had to spend all this investment to turn it into just pasture land. And that's what we're doing it is hard to see, but it's actually an investment. It's hard to get your mind.
It is that way. And the biggest one I could say is the marketing. Put money in your marketing.
Because the skid, you can see the skid.
Yeah.
Right. You buy the Gen 2, you walk out tomorrow, it's still sitting right there. You can touch it, rub it, sniff it, scratch it.
It's out there.
It's just like that. But damn well that you got to do it.
Well, some of us do. Some of us do. The one percenters. But right. I tell you, it is hilarious. Right. I put a lot of money in the market. I'm running about $2,000 a month on ads. Google Ads got Footbridge Media. They're running my ads. I've got 2 sets of Google Ads running. I try to do Facebook ads, and it puts me at the top. I'm already ranking above everybody else, but that just guarantees my spot. And it's
Here's the question. Here's the question. Does the mindset and doing what you're doing, does it yield an ROI?
Well, sure. Yeah.
Then
the phone rings.
That's right. So then what happens is the longer you stay in business, guys, take a page out of this notebook. That hurdle, think about him as a young guy. It's backwards on my screen here. Think about him as a young guy, 18 years old, doing this the right way, how scary that is. The cool thing is the more wins he gets, he bets, he wins a battle. He places another bet, he moves his chess pieces, he wins a battle. 5 years from now, it's much easier to place those bets because you know that you're pretty much going to win that battle. Now, he said earlier, trying to not save money. It's not that you're not, and I know he knows this, it's hard to articulate it. It's not that you're not going back and looking at all the previous battles and seeing how you could have won the battle for less money. It's right. Just most of us default to spending no money. So you have to do what I do. A lot of us do. I'd say 95% of us have to purposefully blow some money to get us out of that habit. And then maybe later I'm not saying don't be smart with your spend. I'm just saying that if I got 100 guys in a room, that would not be their problem. Their problem would be that they're scared to spend anything. So we got to break the mold and reset it. We'll let the bean counters do the bean counting, right? Because if we're making hand over fist, I'm not saying don't scrutinize your P&L. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
But the bigger problem is usually the pendulum's so far that way that we gotta kind of bring it back into the realm of not being afraid to invest in equipment, not being afraid to get a truck, not being afraid to spend some money on marketing, because these are the things that are foundational pieces to your business.
You have to, man. And I'll tell you, I notice there's a ton of people getting in this industry. So I'm running as fast as I can to grow this thing. I mean, and it's working. It's working. And it is the faster I can run, the better. The more money I can invest in myself, the money you invest in yourself. Self-development is where the money is. The more you jump into yourself, the money's going to follow. I mean, it's going to follow.
Success is never owned. It's only rented, and the payments due every day. There's always somebody coming to take the ground you took yesterday. That's the nature of capitalism, right? I try to do really hard things like invent a pump, okay? Because I've watched the same thing for me. I've watched a bunch of dudes spring up and build equipment in the last 5 years. Well, I was at one time the dude that sprung up and started building equipment to the previous generation that was building equipment and are still building equipment. Some of those guys are really good friends of mine now, but I was the new kid on the block, and then I jumped up there to their level and surpassed in some cases. Yeah. So I've watched, the jack leg backyard shade tree dude building skids. It is what it is. Is it frustrating? It is a little bit, but like you said, the bigger picture is that's just the course of capitalism in nature. The way to win is to always be betting on yourself and improving yourself and keep doing the next hard thing so that you're always a step ahead. That's what you're doing. You're so far ahead. Yeah, they're back there, but they're not hurting you.
No, and even if I see them around town, I ain't worried about them. I'm not worried about them because I know they're not doing what I'm doing. Right. They don't have a footbridge site. It is hilarious, man. I tell you, when it's cold in the winter, there's nothing. I mean, and I'm still working. There's nothing. They throw the tarp on it. They got them in the store. The first sunny day, Cody, I'm telling you, I'm driving by a storage unit. This guy's pulling out his trailer. I come over here. This guy's pulling his trailer. Yep. No signs on his truck.
Yep.
And when I see people with signs on their truck, I look it up. They're not on Google. Okay, whatever.
Every day that happens, you're gaining another lap on your competition. You're gaining another lap.
I'm telling you, you would think, dude, I'm telling you, half of the information is on your YouTube channel.
I'm just saying.
If they had went there,
just watch the channel.
Dude, it's crazy. It is so crazy. They're just so against it. And I tell you, it's so funny that the $99 guy, I did quite the opposite of what normal people do. I started out charging high. Cody's like, it's not uncommon to make $1,000 a day at the training. I was like, okay.
Okay, bet.
And then I came home, I was doing $1,000. Like a couple of the first job I did was $1,000. Took me 2 hours. I was like, okay, I like this. And I tell you, here's funny. This is funny. So throughout the senior year, I was getting everything in order, insurance, getting everything slowly put together. So when I graduated, I was hitting the ground running. The day I graduated, the next day was May. The month of May, the next day was June. So the first day in June, I did $27,000 that month. The month after I graduated high school. You know what my dad said? He said, you're probably the first one in history to ever do that. I said, they're going to laugh at me, but look at what I'm doing.
That's very impressive.
It was hilarious. In class, I was talking about the business, and they're like, you got to bet the teachers. They have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right. Like, you made more in June than probably a lot of teachers' annual salary.
It's funny. It's really funny. But of course, I'm working my tail off.
Right.
And I invested in myself, which they don't want to do. The money is where you take the risk. You got to take a risk. You have to.
How much did that Gen 2 cost you? I don't even know. Like,
it was $22 after tax.
So you cleared it up in the first month.
I paid cash and all my equipment. I paid cash. I got $80,000 in just assets.
Right.
And that's for a year.
That leads into my third question is like, on the equipment, just give me your honest feedback. Like, money well spent. Have you had a lot of gremlins? Like, so you got a used skid and then you got into a Gen 2 later.
I got the Mini Max. Okay, sweet. It works great. I wish the pump shot further. 12 volts, very capable, dependable. I wish it shot further. That's just the case. That's just how it is. Hoses are fine. I wish the pressure reel was like you did now. That was really smart the way you rearranged it. I was like, that's sweet. That's what I really would like to. That's sweet. That's how I wanted it to be. But very capable skid. Very capable. You have to know how to use it, and you can really hammer it out. 5.5 is a great machine. Had a Honda on mine. It's a little slow with the surface cleaning. You don't know it's slow until you get an 8-gallon. But
right.
but you can still wear it out, man. I'm telling you. I did. It's not uncommon. I did one day. It was $3,500 on the mini skid. But I tell you, I got the Gen 2. One day I did $7,000.
That's a pretty good day right there, bro.
It's a pretty good day. I did a cemetery fence, $7,000. What can you say? The 24-volt pump, the 8-gallon minute.
So you got, we got a few different platforms. The old mini skid that we're in the process of phasing out now for the super mini, which is what you're talking about, the new design. So that's kind of your beginner entry level. Then the Gen 2 is what you got. That's the flagship, the heavy duty skid. And we got the open trailer, and now we're starting to do enclosed trailers. Those are going to have about the same functionality. But yeah, so like give me the skinny on keeping the thing operational in the field, because everybody knows in soft washing you're dealing with chems and pressure and air leaks and voltage and pumps, and like how easy or how aggravating is it to run?
I'll tell you how easy it is. The mini skid was a year old when I bought it, and I used it, wore it out for a year, did 150,000 on it in 1 year. And only thing that went out was pumps and hoses. That's it. Say it ain't so. I mean,
just normal wear parts, right?
normal wear. Doesn't take any time. You got one on the truck, you're back up. I mean, that's all that went out. That's all that went out.
That's great.
It's the common stuff. And I tell you what, every time I see a J rig set up, I was like, I'm not impressed. I don't like it. I'm not going to be that way. Yes, I could build a skid for cheaper. Anybody could build a skid for cheaper. You could probably look on one of your videos and figure out how to build one.
That always gets me because those guys they'll say, well, you can build it. Well, duh, like the homeowner can wash their house cheaper. Like the whole point is a margin. Like you're in business for there's got to be a gap between what it actually cost and buying it. So yeah, we try to make it
convenience. It's convenience. There is extreme value in having something that's turnkey, ready to make money. The day I brought it home, I was making money with that skid. The next day, $1,000. I mean, you just figure if I do an average $1,000 a day, how long would it take me to build a skid and sort out the kinks? I'd lose money on it. I mean, I had that skid paid for when I took it home. I mean, I paid it cash up front, but I had it paid for within the month.
Right. And that's the goal, guys. What we really, I've been in the field since I was a kid, and I know how important it is to be able to stay up and running. And that's, I meant to put this on the screen earlier. So the equipment, that's obviously what I'm here to talk about from me perspective, but I think you guys are seeing like the overall industry is a great thing to be in if you've got the right mindset. Now that he's got the mindset, now he's adding the equipment and the gear and the skill down to that. So,
and I'll tell you, Cody, how bad to the bone they look on the road to people. One of the first window jobs I did, I pulled up in that skid. I got it on that big old F-350. Looked real nice.
You got that dually, don't you?
Oh, that dually boy. That thing is a 6.0, and it's sweet. But first job, I took it up there. Man, I didn't even have the lettering on the truck, but this older gentleman, he said, "What, you got $250,000 in that rig?" I said, "Not quite that much. I appreciate it." Every single person compliments me on it. They're like, "Wow, this guy." And it's the darnest thing. People stop haggling you. They see that, they're like, "Okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He ain't got to pull behind Harbor Freight pressure washer. He's going to do a good job."
And it's a completely different vibe.
I tell you, when I bought that skid, it was about 3 weeks before I picked it up. Buying it, okay, that's one thing. When I picked it up, totally different feeling. I mean, when I had it on the back of the truck and I was coming home, I was like, this is game changer. I mean, this is the real deal right here. I mean, I felt like I made it because I had made that decision. And it was worth it. I mean, people see that. They know you got money in your business. You can make more money with it. The appearance. No one has a rig like that around here. They all have crap trailers. I want it. I want to do everything they're not doing, and that separates me too. It's the baddest rig around. I mean,
we try to make them, look as clean like they do as possible and still be end user serviceable out in the field. And that's really tricky to do because you can make it look cool if you put everything behind panels and pockets. The problem is you can't work on it when you have a little problem. A little problem becomes a big problem because you're spending an hour trying to go back home and take stuff off and get to things.
So I got my the Gen 2 has got the 24-volt reel and it's got an 8-gallon washer on it. This is a little bit of a mindset problem with me. I had not optioned to get the surface rack cleaner, so I was dumb because I wanted to save money. It was dumb. I regret it so bad. And then recently, I just purchased the surface cleaner rack and then the Tucker system.
Yeah.
I just wish I'd bought it from y'all in the first place. Y'all put it on. That's just one of those things. But, I still wrote the check. It was like $6,000 or whatever. Boom, wrote the check. And I got it here, put it on there. Man, it's a lot easier. Got my rack. It's not in the way. Right. And then it's like, it's just, it gets to you if you let it. It gets to you. It's like, well, this is a little bit more money I want to spend. I should have just pulled the trigger. I'm trying to get into that habit. You got to watch for it. It just sneaks in on you.
It's just natural, but you're crushing it, dudes. I got a last question for you, and this is right at 30 minutes, so we're tracking pretty good.
Yeah. What
is your one big piece of advice for a new guy watching this? What would you tell him?
Okay. Well, I spoke with you need to network. That's the first thing. If it's cold and you're not working, you need to be networking. You need to be finding people where you want to be. Doesn't have to be in your business, where you want to be. And model them. Model success. Don't start it yourself. Model it. I'm modeling what y'all are doing. You look at Taka Chow, that man is crushing it. He's in the same boat as I am, and I take notice of it, and I'm copying it. I don't mean to annoy him, but I mean, hey, that's where you got to be. You got to find somebody where you want to be and do exactly what they're doing. Why the heck would you reinvent the wheel? Why would you? And so, for what I gotta say, you need to pick up the phone. That's the first thing. The money is in the phone. I tell you, so many people say, "Man, you're the only one to get on the phone. No one would call me back."
Ain't that crazy?
That's the darnest thing.
Ain't that
That's the
crazy?
darnest thing. There's this one gentleman who owns a big 7-figure landscaping business in a town over. I made real tight connections with him. He said, "Keep God first and pick up the phone." He said, "You pick up the phone whenever you get a call, or you call them right back, you will be blessed with so much work that other people aren't getting." I'll pick up the phone on Sunday night if I have to, and I get jobs. I've closed many jobs Sunday night because they need it done in the pinch, and I'm the only one they get on the phone. So take advantage of it.
See, you posted. No, that's the mindset would say, don't do that. You need time with your family. Look, he's building the business. He's in year 1, year 2. He's doing things he doesn't want to do forever. Now, look, here's the difference. I don't pick up the phone ever. I ain't touched the phone or sent an email in the last couple of years, hardly. But that was not the truth in year 1 and year 2. Year 1 and year 2, I was doing what Andrew's doing. Sunday, it didn't matter when it was, Saturday night, Sunday night, because you have to build the foundation. Once you get that built, guys, if you're saying, well, I don't want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to shame you out of saying you don't want to do that. What you're going to say is, I don't do that forever. I'm going to build a system, right? Because Andrew, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I skipped over that question, but maybe you want to have an office, right? You want to have all that stuff automated where you're sort of like Mike Vadan, you're off the truck in an office, it's running. Yep. But you got to be willing to do that stuff on the front end to build if that's what you want to build.
There's no skipping over it. You have to do it. It sucks, but you got to do it. You got to push through. People that don't push through, they just go work a job somewhere else. That's just
bro. Would you rather push through it at 18, 19, 20, 21, right in there? And dude, by the time you're 25, like a few years from now, you're going to be in the position that most people don't get to till they're 45, 50 years old. Like
my friends are going to be graduating college, and I'm going to be running more than $1 million business. I mean, it's going there. I'm going to do $300,000 this year. I'm going to double it. I did 150 in 6 months. And that
you didn't get your rig till halfway through the year.
No, I did that with the Minimax, did 150 in 6 months, and I was pretty much in school the whole year.
That's crazy.
I mean, I got time now, and time's on my side, and I'm rolling.
You project to do about 300 this year.
250, 300. I'm going to get it. I've already got big plans. I'm running 12,000 postcards from Postcard Mania at a lake house community. There's 4,500 homes there. I'm running 3 rounds, 12,000 cards there. That's very expensive. But you know what? I got to do it. You got to do it. And so I'll get back to the advice. So do what you say you're going to do. If you mess something up, you better darn fix it. You better darn fix it. I tell you, I told Mike Vadan about this one point. That Sherman-Williams organic paint, that sorry son of a gun. Man, golly boy, I did this roof wash in this house. Didn't occur to me. Did a house wash. No, I didn't do a house wash. Did a little shed wash. They had a shed, and they had their house and the roof. Did the roof, shed wash. Wash the shed, same paint, looked great. Did the roof, looked great. Send me a picture. He said, "Hey, you missed a spot." I said, "Okay, looks like overspraying the gables." Okay. I go back and kind of fading it in. Looks like it's coming out. The wife comes out. "What'd you do to my house? This house was blue." I was like, I stand back, Cody. I kid you not. It was neon green. It was something out of a movie. I swear. It was dark blue to neon green in about 30 minutes. That's magic right there. And you know what I did though? Wrote a check, had somebody come out to paint the whole house. I don't have time to do that.
Blue is one of those notorious colors too, if that Sherwin paint, and it's rare. You probably won't see it again. Mike's only seen it once in 20 years. I've seen it about 2 times, different colors. Same thing. Overspray from a roof, hot mix. Yeah, but you took care of the customer.
It took care of the customer, and you know what I learned? What I learned: do a test spot every single job, regardless. You have to learn. If you're not learning, you're not growing. Take every single failure. Take every single failure and learn from it. Don't be negative about it. Take it and improve yourself. There's no reason to be negative. I mean, there's no reason to be negative. So you got learning from your mistakes. That's one. Pick up the phone. That's second thing. Do what you say you're going to do. That's third thing. And one of the biggest things is your attitude. This is huge. Here's what separates me from the rest. It's my attitude. I remember specifically at the training, you said, you need to put on the charm when you're selling. You can tell my voice, picture my voice. It's different. It's deeper. But when I'm selling, it's a lot higher. So let's do a little exercise. Just act like you're a customer calling me for roof wash or whatever.
Hey, I was looking to get my roof cleaned.
Hey, man, absolutely. I'd love to give you a quote. I can either give you a quote in person or I can give you a remote quote. Which would fit your schedule best?
Would you mind coming out and doing it in person?
Absolutely. I'd love to do that. I can be up there this afternoon if that works for you.
Yeah, that should work. We'll be here.
All right, man. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you again. I appreciate you.
All right, let's do it the wrong way. You ready? You ready? Do it the wrong way. Hey, I was looking to get a quote on getting my roof clean.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty busy right now, but I might could get out there next week.
It's like you already got, like, you hear the tone, the tonality. And that, guys, those are the things that it's hard to train that into somebody. The reason he's picked up on that stuff is I taught that in the class, but he cares. He's ready to learn. He's absorbing just that one little piece of the class. It's such a difference in talking to somebody that's ready to do the job. They sound upbeat. They're ready to, he's closing me. That's what he's doing. And so no wonder he has jobs. He's good at closing.
It's huge. I'm telling you, if you're a super nice person, you might not do the best job, but if you're just unbelievably nice and you take care of them, I mean, no one else is going to do that.
How many times I've been to restaurants where it was mediocre, it was fine, but the waiter was awesome. And I'm like, I love that place, right?
Makes up for it. It makes up for it.
Yeah. And that's a thing that you can 100% control every single time.
Yeah. And I've got several occasions where they'll call me back and say, hey, I'm not happy about this. I get over the next day. I take care of them. It doesn't matter if I want to or not. I'm going to take care of them. Because if I did a bad job, they can at least say he was the nicest guy, young man. He had his own rig and everything. I don't want to give them an excuse to say something bad about me.
Most of your customers they're wanting to be understanding. And they say, look, man, I'm sorry. Every once in a while we'll have an issue. We'll take care of it. We'll comp you for it. I've done that. I've drove across the country to fix stuff for people where we actually did have an issue. And when those things happen, I try to go like way above and beyond because it means something. It means something to the customer base. And you only get one shot at a reputation. You really do.
One shot. Yeah, I tell you, there's just one little nugget I'll give you. I was talking about that landscape and seven-figure business owner. Well, he told me, he said God first, which is what I'm Christian. I believe in that. And he said, if you have a nice sweeter, he said he mainly does commercial, but sometimes he might do a job and he might not make much money on it. But that older lady needs her yard cut and he might do it just to make her feel good. Well, he said it's the darnest thing the phone starts calling afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of taken that approach. I said, hey, I'll get your driveway. I'll do half off or whatever. I might not make that much money on it. The phone starts ringing. I mean, that's God right there. And if you don't believe in God, you're already behind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're putting it out. What you're putting out into the universe is it's the golden rule. It's do unto others as you would want them to be done. And it works every time. It's just like gravity and electromagnetism and chemistry and everything. It's a law. It has to work.
It comes back to you in abundance. It really does. And, I've been trying to take more of an approach to that. And, another thing is it's helping my mindset too. I'm trying not to be greedy with my money. The money works. Money works for me, not the other way around.
Exactly. It's a tool. It's just like,
it's a tool.
I don't bang my equipment up, but I don't baby it either. I'm going to take care of it, but it works for me. The money's the same way. I have the ability to I try to give a skid a year away. I just give somebody, last year was easy because we had all the guys with the big scandal going on. So it was easy, but I try to every year give a piece of equipment away to somebody. And it's if nothing else, it's programming me to the fact that I can do that and I should do that. So, bro,
and you and Aaron talked about that too. It's not when you're giving stuff like that, you're giving away work and stuff like that. You need to be honest about it. I mean, you ain't giving it to be a nice guy.
Like part of it is like I'm pretty generous. I'm overly generous. That's a personality. I've been like that my whole life, but I don't hide it under, I am doing it as a marketing. Part of it is a marketing tactic, and there's nothing wrong with that. Where you get wrong is being hypocritical about it.
That's right. You know, you got to be honest about it. You know, you do it because it makes you feel good. That's one reason. Mainly do it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one real quick. I'll tell you. You were speaking earlier about people. You know, the people say you're arrogant and all that. They'll call for arrogant. They're full of themselves. All I gotta say about that is I don't know what their experience is. But my experience is great with all of them. I know who they are. I've done business with them, and I trust them. So, and look, I'm living proof that what they say works. So, if anybody negative talking like that, just get them out. I don't. Taka Chow said the same thing. I mean, just get them out. They're lying. They are lying.
A lot of it's usually they didn't implement, you know, and it's easier. And I've done this before with other categories of life, but the guy told me to do X, I didn't do X, and it's easier to say the guy was wrong. And when the guy doesn't roll over and he pushes back, then I call him a jackass because that's doubling down. It's hard for a man to admit he was wrong because you're literally rewiring your mind. You're a Christian, I'm a Christian too. It's repentance is the hardest thing. It's the changing of the mind, and it's very difficult, and it's easier. Broad is the gate, right? That goes that way because it's easier to go that way in spite of the truth being right in front of you. So it's a thing you got to work on.
Proof is in the pudding, man. If someone is not, if it's not running right, you know, well, there's a problem somewhere.
Right.
You got your people. I mean, they're like, "Oh, I ain't getting any calls. My footbridge site it's been up for 2 months. You ain't gonna get no calls." I didn't get a single call the first 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
And I was uploading project pages and got reviews. I got 110 5-star reviews. I mean,
dude, that's so
now they're rolling. Now they're rolling. You have to be patient. I mean, it's not overnight. It ain't overnight.
Dude, and you're like, you know, crushing it. You're crushing it. Over 6 figures in your first year. Young, boom, hit the ground running. And you're saying that it takes time. Well, really, in the grand scheme of things, it ain't really been that much time. It's like these people think they're buying a magic genie that poofs out. It's like, what kind of businesses could you start in 24 months, be at 200,000 annual and have made a few $100,000 and have no debt? You know, it's crazy. It's a crazy good business to be in.
Crazy. You know, it's funny that the pressure washing industry, my dad tells me this, it attracts a lazy kind of person.
Yeah.
If you're not lazy, you're going to crush it. I mean, that's happening right there. You got to go get it. You know, you go get it, do what you say you're going to do, be honest, do a good job. I mean, you run circles around everybody else. And I'll tell you, the discipline is huge. One reason I have so much discipline is fitness. You need to be strong mentally, spiritually, and physically. A lot of people can't get 3.
You ain't never been in the gym, have you? Show me one time. Oh, there he is.
It's my first day. I go to Planet Fitness, y'all. Y'all don't make fun of me. But I tell you, man, I started working out. Boom, my confidence through the roof. I tell you that right there, if you can get in physical shape to where you're comfortable in your own skin, you'll be walking different. You'll be talking different.
Yeah.
You'll be selling jobs.
Guys need that. Like guys need to have some wins somewhere in their life. Somewhere you need to have.
Believe it or not, Cody, I used to be an introvert. And then I realized after your class, introverts don't make money.
Nope.
You need to talk. You need to be vocal. You need to sell. And you need to be just a great person. And you need to be outspoken with yourself. If you're just quiet to yourself, you ain't going to sell nothing. You ain't going to sell nothing.
And true.
It takes a lot of discipline to work out when you don't want to. May not seem like it, but it does. And I did powerlifting for the longest time. It's delayed gratification because you're maxing out, you fail 5 times, you get it the 6th time, you know. It takes patience. And once you get it though, I mean, you're on top of the world. And it's just anything to give you the edge. So if you can be in shape, you don't have to be in the best shape. If you just take care of yourself. I heard this one quote, and you probably know what I'm talking about. I'll just give it to you. So if I could give you $1 billion today, would you take it?
Yeah. If you had to kill yourself, would you take it?
Would you?
Nope.
You're saying it's worth more than you're breathing. So
right.
What you waiting on? And it's so true. I mean, I'm not trying to take whoever said that, but it's so true. And people just don't think about it like that. You know?
Dude, I'm so grateful that you come on the channel. It's been fun watching your journey. I'm not too active on Facebook, but I see all your posts and stuff. And the dude is crushing it, guys. As an example, we're going to cut it at 45 minutes. That's a good time. Try to make them all probably about this length. Young man, he's not even 20 years old yet, crushing it. If he can do it, anybody can do it, guys. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on. Sweetwater Softwash. shout out to him and his area. He's dominating over there. So if you're watching this video and you live over there, give him a call. Get on the schedule. I'd be glad to do it. Right.
Hey man, it was a pleasure. I'm so grateful for you letting me come on and do this with you. It was just
The first one, baby.
Man, hey, it's gonna be the best one too.
I love
the best. That's the best one.
You can't manufacture the swag. Look, guys, thank you for watching, hanging out with us a little bit. We'll do another one in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.